Welcome to episode 5 of Sailing Soluna, giving you something to look forward to every Monday. Just a quick recap. We're an Aussie and UK couple in our 20s who have just bought a 43-foot sailboat with no sailing experience. We love sharing all of our adventures with you, from learning to sail as we go to spearfishing and living as off-grid as possible. Personally, it's been so important to me to be able to share these adventures with my family and friends who are on the other side of the world. Though this episode is slightly different, so grab a beer or a cup of tea and let us introduce ourselves properly.
Hi, I'm Danny. This is Sarah. I'm Danny. And Tazzy.
This is Tazzy.
Tazzy's names are Tazzy Glenn Dobby,
Glenjamin,
Glenn Meany,
Glenmeister 3000.
If you haven't followed along, please check out the last few episodes. Quite adventurous and much more of that to come.
Where are you from?
Byron Bay of Australia. Lived in the sand dunes there for the last 3 years.
I was trying to find some sandworms in Byron Bay and I came across Danny's cave.
No, I grew up in a country town in Victoria called Gisborne. Way too cold there, so I moved to northern New South Wales and I have lived there for the better part of my adult life. What about you, Sarah?
I am from England. I was born in Cornwall and have lived the majority of my life in Winchester. I moved to Australia in December 23. I landed in Melbourne. I did 2 months up the east coast. Then I went back down. I lived in Byron. That is where I met young old Daniel.
Young old.
Come and join the chat.
Don't be so big. No. Good job. Oh yeah. Sit down. Good job.
So I lived in a beautiful little house with my friends. We had another friend who decided to move into the garage because apparently that's the thing in Australia where people live in garages. It was actually a really sick room, which made it look really cool. Young old Danny here was friends with her also. She used to always come around our house and I used to go to work and I'd come home from work to Danny and his young old surfer friends sat on my sofa. I think they were scared of us.
So we hid in the garage most of the time.
Danny's gone from living in the sand dunes to living in a car to hiding in my garage.
Mind you, there was 5 English girls living in that house
very
they
scary.
were very scary.
I picked him up off the street and I gave him a warm, clean bed.
Free rent. Great.
The first time we laid eyes on each other, we felt instantly in love.
Anyways, we're getting way too sidetracked. Where's the phone? Why did you get a sailboat?
We love the ocean. If we were going somewhere, we'd always be heading to the ocean. Probably avoid everything else. Cities, we wouldn't even be there. Even like waterfalls, like yeah, they're stunning, but we'd just not go there because we want to go to the beach. It's basically perfect because we're on the ocean all the time.
Yeah. The only thing I miss is surfing. And the goal, which comes into our next question, is where do you want to sail to? Short-term goal, Outer Reef, and surf the Outer Reef. Then that takes us to our long-term goal. Indonesia, or we're going to go to Fiji. Surfing will become a major thing again. But for this point in time, it's really good to learn to sail where there's no swell. But that also means when there's no swell, there's no surf.
How many surfboards you got?
10.
The reef is probably the main thing that I'm looking forward to, I would say.
Yeah.
When the water's really like turquoise, when it's like really pale and you can see everything. So I think when we go to the reef and it's stunning colours, that is what I mean.
I can't wait. I think our WA trip's going to be like our first big test, which is quite remote still. I think if we can do that, that'll also give us a lot of experience and that'll give us a lot of confidence to go do an ocean crossing, which sounds so scary.
I think I wouldn't necessarily say I mean there's places that I want to go to and having the boat we can go to those places, but for me it's not about where we're going, it's about the journey.
Yeah.
I would say, because like doing this, like just sitting where we are, like this is all I've wanted to do. Like this is the whole reason why I wanted to get a sailboat. It's not about where we're going to next year, it's about like right now, I would say.
Yeah, but I would like to surf.
What are our favourite things about living on Soluna?
I've got one.
This actually just
sitting here drinking beer.
yeah, that's what I mean. This
It sounds kind of boring because sailboat's supposed to be outside and doing things. Or we just put a new TV inside and we can watch movies every night. We haven't had a TV, we haven't had a couch, we've just had a car.
I think for me, because we lived in the van in Byron, we're very used to just moving around and seeing new places. When it got cold, when we started doing the lap of Australia in South Australia, we then lived in a house, which was fine, but it never really felt like home because we couldn't just take it anywhere with us. What I love about living on the boat is that we can just take our home anywhere.
It's like practically a bigger van, but on the water. I bought a boat in Byron when we first left.
Bought a boat in Byron.
It's called Big Soz.
Big Soz and it was red.
Then we bought a little bit bigger boat in South Australia and that still wasn't big enough. If we get a bigger boat, we're going to need a bigger car. And that wasn't an option, so he just bought a boat that we can't pull on a trailer. That's how we got here. Kept wanting to go further in the ocean.
But we wanted to go and stay overnight on islands, trying to work out how we could sleep in this tinny, which was like 4 meters. Didn't even have a fridge. We're very limited as to where we could actually go. Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
We could technically go anywhere, which we plan to do.
We've been ticking away behind the scenes, getting things done, sailing, getting our experience up, and then when the time's right, we will go full time.
When you're in a van, you can travel around the whole of Australia, yeah, cool, but you've got to pay for the fuel.
Otherwise you can't go anywhere.
Otherwise you can't go. But in a sailboat, what you can do is you put these big 2 things up, which are the sails, and the wind takes you to the places that you want to go. How much solar do you have, and is it enough? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 hard solar panels,
Yeah.
2 flexible ones. Not sure that the flexible ones do anything.
No, they do, but they're not too efficient. Hard solar panels, we've got 400 watt, and I would ideally like to have double that when we get our new battery system. But we want to also close to double our battery system so we can just never have to worry about it. Bottom line is we need fridges.
Why did you choose this specific boat? In one word, the windows. We went to have a look at a boat. It didn't have I mean, it had windows, but it was very dark on the inside. And I knew working on my laptop, I can work outside, but I'm going to be getting distracted. I'm not going to be as productive if I'm sat outside in the sun here. It's great because I can. Usually I sit inside there, and I knew that having small windows, it'd be so dark in there. We found this one and it's got a lot of space and it's got a lot of windows, and I knew that's the boat we were getting because of the windows.
I chose this boat because of its size, bigger the boat, more stable. Also where this boat has been, gave me a lot of confidence. This has been in New Caledonia, it's done an ocean crossing, and it's been all the way across the top of Australia, which is where we want to go. It's won a lot of races, very stable boat, and it sails very good, which I didn't know how good it sailed until we actually sailed. And then on our second sail we went 9 knots.
So there were 2 main ones that we were looking at. One of them was in New Zealand. This one was obviously in Queensland. We could go and see it before we actually paid for it, so that made it better first of all, but also the people that owned it, they lived on it, and I think that makes a massive difference, because we looked at one in Perth, people didn't actually live on it, they just use it for the weekends, and it wasn't set up as well. Like the bedroom was in the main room, that was the only room, and then you've just got the toilet. It was fine, it was great for a weekend boat, but as soon as we saw it, I knew it wasn't right.
This is a proper home.
This is a sick home.
You got 2 bedrooms, a bathroom and a living room and a storage room and a garage.
Everything.
And it has a decent keel. It's got a really good keel. It's a fin keel, but it's got a good ratio. 3.9 ton, and the boat weighs about 12 tons, so it's a good ratio.
And it's a nice colour. It's sky blue. Personally, I wouldn't have done it by myself, but I'm very happy that Danny agreed to do it with me, because where he does surf, and he has surfed his whole life, he has a lot of knowledge on the oceans, on the swells, on the wind. That's probably more than the average person. Even though we don't necessarily have sailing knowledge, Danny's got a very good understanding already of the basics. How long do you plan to live on a boat? Forever?
Until we find the treasure. I'd like to have kids on the boat.
I would as well. I don't think I could be restricted to one area, and I've always said that. I don't think I could, not that I couldn't live in a house, I can definitely live in a house, I've done that my whole life, but the freedom that I've had travelling in a van, I don't genuinely think I can just stay in one place. So this is probably the best option for me, I would say, because we have a home, which is the boat, and we can take it anywhere.
Yeah, I think so. I think in these next few months we're going to get really used to it. But I was thinking for her, she needs a little bit more to get used to it. She needs to learn to go to the toilet on the boat.
Yeah, I don't think she knows that she's allowed to.
Yeah, she definitely doesn't.
How long does it take to edit videos? A very, very, very long time. Usually it takes a few full days. Depends, this video is going to take a very long time. What do you spend the most money on?
Beers.
Beers. I couldn't go for rum though.
We probably spend our most money on food. We've really tried to make a goal to eat good food. When we were travelling around Australia, we kind of did it pretty, I'd say pretty cheap.
Yeah.
But food's so expensive these days, it's hard to justify it.
Which is why we're growing our own vegetables and catching our own fish.
Yes. At the moment, we've been spending a couple $100 on the boat each week, just doing some little things.
There's probably things that we spend money on that we don't necessarily need to. For example, vinyl that I just put in that cupboard, it's a very aesthetic thing. It makes it look so much better, but did we need to do it? No, probably not.
No, it wasn't a necessity, but at the same time, it makes it feel that little bit homelier. We probably spend $150 to $200 a week on food, $50 a week on beers. $250 to $500 a week on the boat at this stage. While we're here and we're learning to sail, we also aim to get the boat prepared for long journeys, electronics, maintenance side of things. The boat is going to get pulled out of the water in about 2 weeks, and we will have it on the hard stand for about 2 months. We can do the anti-foul, we're going to install davits, fridge, we're going to redo the floor.
I'm excited for the floor.
Many other things as well. We'll probably get the sail patched up while we're at it, and we're going to add a new wind instrument, which means putting a new sensor in a seacock down through the hull. There's going to be a fair few things we're going to be doing in the next couple of months.
Very, very exciting.
Painting, staining, we're going to pull some windows out.
Basically turning into a whole new DIY project, which we didn't think it was going to be.
Once we put it back in the water, pretty much should have everything, or I would say 90% of stuff done. Ideally, we're going by June next year. What are some cool things on the boat we didn't realise we would get when buying a boat and that are now normal? The gimbal on the oven. So the oven, oven goes side to side. So when you're sailing, you're rocking side to side like we are now. You can have a fry pan on there cooking dinner and it won't fall off.
No.
They're really cool, but it's kind of normal now.
Salt water pump.
And that is in the kitchen, and we've also now installed a saltwater deck wash pump. So then we can wash off the deck if we get fish. If Tassie goes to the toilet on the deck, we'll wash that off. You don't waste your water. What else is
suddenly
good?
rocking? We could be cooking right now and it would be all good because we've got a nice little gimbly kitchen oven.
Another one is autopilot.
Not that ours works right now.
It doesn't work right now, but it's just so easy, and we never even touched the wheel when we had it.
We've got a whole wind turbine farm. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Didn't know they had them, but they do.
What gave you the confidence to get a boat?
We had the tinny and then we had the bigger tinny, and we were always on the water and we just wanted to be on the water as much as we can. It kind of just made sense.
We've been in way worse conditions in the tinnies than we have been in the sailboat. So if you can say it's scary and you need experience to sail a boat, well, I'll tell you right now that we've been in a lot worse conditions in the tinnies. 3 least favourite things. That horrible tinny called Stupid. There's a reason it's called Stupid. It leaks, it's got too small of an outboard on it, and if you sit on it by yourself, being a tinny, your nose just goes in the air like that, and it's stupid. When we're diving, Sarah struggles to get back on it, and I do too.
Fin just seems to be everywhere. He moves it into every single room at least 20 times in one day. Today I found it in the bedroom. Earlier I found it under the desk.
In the engine room.
In the engine room.
Outside.
Basically every single room that we have. We started off with just a bin bag hanging on a wine
it's good. The fridges that were inbuilt into the boat don't work. They need to be re-gassed. Because at the moment we don't have a freezer on the boat.
I have another one.
Yeah.
The toilet's definitely been in there since 1972. The other day it was blocked. Unblock my first toilet. I don't
Jano will be proud of that one. She's a plumber.
I don't know if it's worse being a boat toilet because I've not actually unblocked a toilet before, but I can imagine it definitely probably was.
And I laid in bed. But
we had a few arguments that day. I called up 3 plumbers and I said, "Excuse me, please can you help me unblock my toilet?" And they said, "We'll call you back," and they never did.
favourite fish caught? Pole trout. Dived for probably 4 hours. First one, Sarah saw it, hit the top of the surface and yelled out, "Danny, there's a fish there." And I looked and I saw it was a cold trout come to the top of the surface to feed on something. Swam back down and I got him on the way back down. Unplanned teamwork.
We bought this book. On this page there are lots of fish. We are trying to get them all, apart from the poisonous ones and the ones that say no take. Yeah. My favourite fish, I really like the coral trout. We cooked it really nicely. We cooked it with spring onion, bok choy, lemon, garlic. I put the lemon in the cooker as well, so it kind of like brought the flavour into the fish, which was nice. Because I just love meat, the tuna we caught, the tuna that we caught when we actually bought the boat and we took it down from Burren to Early Beach, it was so meaty and it was just nice.
Does Tassie like the boat? And what is their favourite thing? Hey, wake up, brother. Hello. Come here. Happy guest.
Len's favourite thing to do on the boat? Fishing.
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 Where's the fishes? Tassie loves the boat. She always has loved the boat. I've never seen a dog more obsessed with fishing than Tassie. She'll literally sit up all night. If I got a fishing rod out, she'll sit up all night and just lay there and watch it outside. Grown to like sleeping outside.
Can I tell a funny story? Last night we were sleeping directly under here. Tassie was sleeping where I am sat.
Yeah, Tassie's bed.
I don't know why, but for some reason I was awake. I don't know if I woke up at this or what, but I woke up, her butt was hanging down the window. Just like, climb back up.
Every morning we wake up and we look out the skylight and Tassie's usually laying her head
She's
on
usually
it.
looking at us like, why are you not waking up?
She likes to sleep outside. It's a bit rough. I don't really like leaving her outside. Tassie's fine absolutely anywhere if she's got company with us. When we're sailing, she doesn't leave the cockpit area. We've got a centre cockpit, so it's a lot safer. If we had a rear cockpit, it would be a little bit more dangerous, but she does not walk around because it's just too risky. That's a lot of her exercise is swimming. How is it living in a confined space together?
Danny's been very close to going overboard. It's actually not too bad. We have enough rooms where we can have our own space if we need to.
Yeah.
So it's never really been a problem.
No, I don't think it has been. Tassie also has a lot of room. That was a big one. Most of her time spent outside. She just loved it.
Bye.
See you then. Well, see, it's a bit different for us because we lived in a van.
I feel like we have expanded.
You know.
We're not restricted. The only thing which I would say restricts us is if I'm on the boat working and Danny goes to work, he obviously takes the tinny unless I drop him off, which I don't do. So I'm then on the boat and I can't leave the boat. That's probably the main thing.
When we get our new tender, we'll probably have 2.
We have worked it out, so when Danny leaves, if I don't have too much to do in the day, then I'll go with him and then go to the gym and then find somewhere to work then. I've driven the tinny by myself once and the engine cut out twice and I couldn't get back onto the boat, so I had to paddle with the oars.
Good learning though.
I haven't done that since.
What has gone wrong? Our autopilot, our fresh water pump pressure switch failed. There is a little hole in the mainsail. A bilge pump float switch. But yeah, that wraps it up, I reckon.
I think so.
We're gonna go sail back.
Thank you for joining us for our question and answer, and hopefully you know us a little bit more now.
Maybe we'll do this every couple months. But if you have any more questions, put it in the comments.
Right here.
Or any tips.
We need as many tips as humanly possible, please. So if you're watching this and even if you've never sailed before but you've come up with an idea, please just put that in the comments and we'll think about it.
Yeah. Cheers. Bye.
Cheers. See you every Monday for a new episode of Sailing Soluna.
Should we tell them what we're doing next week?
What we're doing next week?
Yeah.
Can't say that because our plans always change.
Let's
we always don't do what we say.
You want me to